Hang on one second. We're adding on something.
I'm good with that. This is a silent movie. This is a silent movie. Oh. I want this footage later. Absolutely. Yeah, this is fun.
Very good.
Good afternoon. I'm really proud to see all of you here today, and I want to thank you for joining us. This is a landmark decision, a landmark day, and I'm just glad I lived long enough to get here. It's been 20 years. I'm Councilmember Lorene West, and I'm joined here by my fellow councilman, Bob Keller, and after 20 years of fighting, we can finally say we believe there will not be a megamine in Soledad Canyon.
That's a fact.
It is.
Before we get started, we would like to recognize some of the dignitaries who are here today for this momentous occasion. Our fellow council member, Bill Miranda. Bill. Our Congresswoman, Katie Hill. Our Senator, Scott Wilk. Where are you, Scott? There he is. Come on up here. Representing U.S. Senator Dianne Feinstein, we have Jade Suh. Representing Assemblymember Christy Smith, Michelle Campbell. And of course, our ever-popular city manager, Ken Striplin, is with us. I take great pride in also introducing our former state assembly member and now Santa Clarita Water Board member, and that is Dante Acosta. Dante? We have from our Community Services Commission, we have Commissioner Kieran Wong. Sure. And from our Planning Commission, Renee Berlin. Renee, where are you? Thank you. Yesterday, the Interior Board of Land Appeals issued a decision. That decision states that CEMEX Corporation's mining rights in Soledad Canyon will expire as of July 2020. The 16 months left on CEMEX's mining contract, coupled with their inability to get an extension or a new contract, essentially makes this current contract useless. This means that mining will never take place in this vital part of our community. Lorene?
This has been a very long battle. It has embodied countless elected officials, environmental groups, local businesses, our school districts, our nonprofit groups, local organizations, our city staff, and so many hours of very hard work. I especially want to thank our very own city manager, Ken Striplin, who has provided tremendous leadership on this very nuanced and challenging issue. His oversight and guidance has been instrumental in reaching this conclusion. We would be remiss if we did not mention Mike Murphy. Remiss. Mike Murphy is this issue. When I say he has lived and breathed CEMEX for years, tracking this development, accompanying councils on trips to D.C., more trips to D.C., more trips to D.C., I want to just say he has worked with our elected officials, he has attended countless meetings, and he has been a steadfast advocate every step of the way for this community. Mike's wealth of knowledge and skill navigating this issue and keeping the council informed has been essential and effective. I want to thank you in front of everyone, Mike Murphy. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge the important partnerships with Safe Action for the Environment, Andy Freed, and the Sierra Club, who we've been proud to work with. I'm proud to say that all this work is finally paying off. Yesterday's decision means that the pristine 460-acre site along the eastern border of our city will never become a mega mine. The contract, which would have allowed the mining of 56 million tons of gravel, and has only 16 months left on it, meaning that it is essentially worthless. From here on out, the land where the Santa Clara River runs, where the San Gabriel Mountains National Monument stands, where the natural wildlife corridors provide connections for hundreds of species of animals, will now and forevermore be safe from mega mining.
Reaching this historic point was not an easy task. It took many people and organizations years of working together to put a stop to this mine, which would have severely impacted our way of life in the Santa Clarita Valley. One such organization, and Lorene just touched upon it, but I want to draw additional attention to it, is certainly the Safe Action for the Environment, and we have Andy Freed, the leader, here with us today. Andy, thank you for all your hard work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet. We must continue to be vigilant in our efforts over the next 16 months until the contract is fully extinguished. There are so many people to thank that it would be impossible to name them all. But to our Santa Clarita community, if you came to a rally opposing CEMEX, Sandra could tell how much work that lady has done. If you signed a petition, wrote to your elected officials, spoke up at council meetings, community meetings, and wrote letters opposing the mine, thank you. Thank you, one and all, for taking the time and effort, which is finally paying off. In 2018, thanks to the legislation by our former Congressman Steve Knight and our Senator Feinstein, we cannot say enough gratitude and appreciation. Councilmember West and I are happy to help have led the charge on the CEMEX City Council Subcommittee. We work countless hours with elected officials at every level of our state and federal government to get to this point. And on kind of a personal, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to add to that. I mean it very sincerely. It was truly my honor to work side by side with Lorene West. And over the years, we have been on this subcommittee for 20 years together. And to have this outcome, I cannot begin to tell you how good this feels for not only our city, but all of the people that live here in the Santa Clarita Valley.
And we didn't even get a divorce.
And no, we didn't. No.
We got to have a little humor today. Thank you.
Okay, did I already read this line? I want to thank everyone who is here today and everyone who played a role in putting a stop to the megamine. We will continue to be vigilant in this fight and in any others that affect our community. Many of you know this was not our first big battle here in Santa Clarita, to preserve the high quality of life we enjoy in Santa Clarita. We now want to invite up our Congresswoman Hill, who has been an ardent opponent of the mine and a strong supporter of our community. Katie, please come up.
Well, I'm so excited to be here. I've been working on the issue for a little over 2 months, not 20 years. Since I got into office, I actually hired a position that is specifically focused on making sure that the issues that are a priority for this community are pushed and pushed and pushed until they get resolved. So I'm really excited that we started this process pretty much day one once we got there. And when we officially issued the letter to IBLA saying, or to the Secretary of the Interior saying that we want an expedited decision on this. It's been sitting there for 3 years. And they responded very quickly within 2 days. So I think that's pretty incredible. And it shows you that we can, if you have an entire community of people working together, elected officials at every level working together, then we're able to just keep that focus. The advocacy coming from the community has been incredible, and we're able to get things done. So again, this isn't over. We're going to watch it the entire way and make sure that this follows through and that we don't lose any ground, and that it can't possibly result in anything else but the mine never happening. I think this is also a victory for our infrastructure. Mining at this site would have resulted in thousands of additional trucks on our local roads and highways. I drive that 14 freeway every time I'm back here. I pass the site on my way home and out, and we all know why it would be such a problem. But I'm really glad for the small role that I've played in finishing off the work that my predecessors had begun and taken so far. And I look forward to working with you all to make sure that this and other battles are won once and for all. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Congresswoman Hill. Very pleased. It is now my great pleasure to introduce our state senator, Scott Wilk.
I'm sorry I'm a little underdressed. I didn't really think I was going to make it. I literally just got in from Sacramento. And I got to tell you, this is a phenomenal victory because we've been doing this for decades now. And a lot of people say, why are you wasting taxpayer dollars? You're taking on a behemoth multinational corporation that has wide influence in both Washington, D.C. and in Sacramento, but they've never met a community as united as the Santa Clarita Valley. Andy, I want to thank you in Safe Action for the Environment for all the phenomenal grassroots work you've done, along with Sandra Cattell and the Sierra Club, just phenomenal. I want to thank the City Council and the City Manager for just pressing forward when there was a lot of doubters. There was a lot of doubters about this. But the fact of the matter is, this would have been an ecological and an economic disaster for northern LA County, and it would have just tremendous health risk to our children and to our elderly. All now put aside. And between the ruling that just happened and Steve Knight's legislation, that is a 1-2 knockout punch to make sure that this mine is never mined, I guess. We have 16 months remaining. There are some potential permits that CEMEX would be required to obtain in order to mine. I will tell you that I will be going back to Sacramento on Monday, and I'll be engaging with the State Water Control Board and others to make sure that those are not issued. And again, I want to congratulate everybody in the room because this was definitely a team effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Wilk, and you have been a stalwart supporter, and we thank you. I would now like to invite up Jadesa, who is representing our United States Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Thank you for pronouncing my last name correctly, and thank you for having me here. The senator couldn't be here today, but she wanted to make sure that I relay this message on her behalf. For nearly 2 decades, Santa Clarita has worked tirelessly to prevent CEMEX from mining on federal land next to this historic city. I've been a strong supporter of the city's efforts, and I'm extremely pleased that their battle is coming to a successful conclusion. At Santa Clarita's request, I inserted language into a federal spending bill last year that would withdraw the land from mining if CEMEX lost its appeal. Now that CEMEX's appeal has been adjudicated, Santa Clarita will finally have the certainty it needs that no future mining will occur. The environmental effects of CEMEX's mining plan would have been terrible. More than 1,000 truck trips each day on already crowded local roads. The mining of 56 million tons of sand and gravel from Soledad Canyon. The harm to air quality and wildlife in the area would have been tremendous. Santa Clarita fought the good fight and won. I'm so proud of the city for not giving up and seeing this through. Clean air and public health are priceless, and today Santa Clarita proves that they're worth fighting for. Thank you.
I want to emphasize something, if I may, as we close this press conference, and that is the number of occasions Lorene and I, along with Mike Murphy, our city manager, visited Washington, D.C. on this battle over the years. And I will tell you, Senator Feinstein played a huge role. How many meetings? And we met with her personally many, many occasions, along with our former Congressman, Buck McKeon. And you know what? This is how we won this battle. That and because of you, the citizens here that we've mentioned. This is how we prevailed. I can't thank you enough for coming out today, and once again, I want to emphasize I can't thank Lorene enough for being my partner on the subcommittee and what we were able to accomplish together. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you for supporting your great community. It's your air, it's your water, it's your lands, it's your wildlife. We're thankful to call this place home. It is our home. We are just simple people in a very lovely area that had a huge mine that was facing us. It was intimidating, and it was going to affect the region, but it was right here in our lap. So we fought. This is what's great about America. I want to personally thank Senator Feinstein, who I'll conclude is a good friend, who has been a loyal servant to the state and who has helped our community, and former Congressman Knight, who worked side by side to make this happen. I want to also say that we are the epitome of what's great about our Constitution and about our country. We worked in a bipartisan effort, and we never quit, and we worked with everybody on all sides of the aisle. It didn't matter if it was state electeds, congressional electeds, or United States senators. We worked together. It wasn't easy. It took 20 years. That's okay. We're still here, and America won the victory. We won it together. God bless you all, and thank you. I guess we're going to join in the hall for some refreshments. All right, we're excused.